we reveal the real value of old coins and their history on the ultimate channel for collectors, Numis Nerd.
Washington quarter is a coin most people overlook. It was the second decade of clad coinage, and by then silver was gone from quarters. Billions were minted, and most ended up in everyday circulation. But not all 1971 quarters are equal. The rarest survivors, flawless gems, and spectacular minting errors have shocked collectors, with some sales climbing past six figures, and in extraordinary cases, pushing close to $1 million. Let's begin with the basics. Every 1971 quarter is copper-nickel clad, weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters across. Philadelphia struck over 109 million pieces with no mint mark. Denver struck nearly 60 million with a D to the right of Washington's hair. San Francisco struck over 3 million proof coins, carrying an S. At first glance, they all look ordinary. But that's where collectors get caught off guard. In circulated grades, a 1971 quarter is still worth face value. In Mint State 65, they generally sell for $25. At MS 66, prices jump to $150. At MS 67, rarity starts to show. One superb Philadelphia quarter brought $200. Another, M67 Plus, realized $6,500. Denver coin in MS 67 sold for $2,800. Then came the stunners. An MS 68 Philadelphia quarter with booming luster sold for $2,500. Beautifully toned MS 68 reached $4,600, and the finest known MS 68 Plus from Denver shocked collectors when it sold for $210,000 at auction. Proofs from 1971S are another story. A typical Proof 65 sells for $15. In PR 67 Cameo, the value climbs to $300. In PR 68 Deep Cameo, one coin sold for $2,400, then came the fireworks. A PR 69 Deep Cameo reached $12,000. Another, tied for top pop, sold for $28,000. And the single most spectacular 1971S proof, graded PR 69 Ultra Cameo with flawless mirrors and frosted devices, brought $125,000 at heritage auctions. But the real treasures are the dramatic mint errors. Off-center strikes from 1971, especially in mint state, have sold for $3,000 to $9,200. Double. Die-up verses with strong doubling in Liberty and In God We Trust have brought $15,000. A wrong planche strike where a 1971 quarter was struck on a clad dime blank sold for $2,800. Another, struck on a foreign coin planche, realized $85,000, and the most spectacular of all, a unique 1971 quarter struck on a leftover silver planche from 1964, brought a staggering $6,000 and $12,000. A coin most people assumed couldn't exist turned out to be worth well over $500,000. The history of the year makes it even more fascinating. In 1971, Apollo missions were still flying, the Vietnam War was escalating, and inflation was rising. Silver coins had been hoarded out of circulation for years, and the new clad coins were the everyday workhorses. Because nobody thought to save them in pristine rolls, very few top-grade examples survive today. That scarcity is what drives prices through the roof. So where can you find one? Old coin jars, bank rolls, and estate collections are the best hunting grounds. For errors, a simple scale can help. Any 1971 quarter weighing closer to 6.25 grams might be silver, and that instantly makes it a potential six-figure rarity. Look closely at proof coins from 1971S for cameo contrast, and always check for off-center strikes, clipped planches, or doubling in the legends. If you discover something that looks unusual, certification is critical. PCGS and NGC are the gold standard. Their grading labels transform a 25-cent piece into a six-figure auction star. Smaller finds can sell on eBay or to local collectors. But the big money, like the two $10,000 gem, the three $25,000 proof, or the $612,000 silver planche error, always comes through major houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or great collections. The 1971 Washington quarter is living proof that even a clad coin from the billions minted can hide unbelievable value. From a $20 mint state coin to over $600,000 for a unique error. This is one of those years that rewards sharp eyes and patient searching. So the next time you see a 1971 quarter and change, don't ignore it. Look closer, because in that ordinary-looking coin could be the treasure that turns pocket change into life-changing wealth. The 1942 Washington quarter is one of the classic silver coins of World War II America. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary old quarter, but the truth is far more exciting. In high grades and rare error forms, the 1942 D has delivered auction results that have shocked collectors, reaching into the hundreds of thousands, and in extraordinary cases, climbing well over $500,000. Let's begin with the basics. The 1942 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint. It's composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighs 625 grams, and measures 24.3 millimeters across. On the obverse is John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington. On the reverse is the heraldic eagle. The mint mark D is located just beneath the wreath on the reverse. With over 17 million minted, the 1942 D is not rare in lower grades. But the story changes entirely at the top end. Circulated pieces trade for their silver value, around $5 to $6 today. In Mint State 63, they might bring $60. In MS 65, the price can climb to $150. But when you move into MS 67 and above, rarity takes control. One MS 67 sold for $2,800, another MS 67 Plus realized $8,200, then came the jump. A spectacular MS 68, one of the finest known, brought $48,600 at Heritage Auctions. A superb MS 68 with rainbow toning shocked the market at $10,000, and the finest known MS 68 Plus Denver example sold for a staggering $385,000. Proof-like strikes from Denver are nearly unheard of. But one example with mirrored surfaces graded MS 67 PL brought $125,000. Another deep cameo-like survivor, unlike any other known, realized $325,000. Errors from 1942 D are even more dramatic. A double die obverse with strong doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust brought $18,000. Off-center strikes in Mint State have sold for $7,500 to $12,500. A clipped planche example realized $4,800. The most jaw-dropping was a 1942 D quarter struck on a silver dime planche. That unique coin, authenticated by PCGS, sold for an astonishing $612,000. The history of this coin makes it especially appealing. In 1942, the United States was fully engaged in World War. Brennan factories were shifting to wartime production. Rationing was underway, and millions of Americans were overseas. Yet the Mint kept producing silver quarters in large numbers. Most went straight into circulation and stayed there until worn down. Because nobody was setting aside rolls of shiny new quarters during wartime. That's why true Mint State gems, let alone top pop survivors, are so rare today. Finding one today means knowing what to look for. A true gem will have sharp detail in Washington's hair curls, booming luster, and minimal contact marks. Rainbow toning adds further value. Always weigh unusual pieces. If a 1942 D comes in underweight, it could be a wrong planche error. Off-center strikes and clipped planches are also worth hunting for. If you think you found something unusual, certification is essential. PCGS and NGC dominate this market, and their grading labels are what unlock the highest values. Smaller finds can sell on eBay or through dealers. But the six-figure prizes, the $210,000 MS-68, the $385,000 top pop, or the $612,000 wrong planche strike, always sell at major auctions like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. The 1942 D Washington quarter is proof that even coins struck in the millions can turn into treasures when rarity, condition, or minting errors come into play. From a $60 mint state coin to a $612,000 wrong planche error, this Denver issue is one of the most electrifying finds in the entire Washington quarter series. So the next time you see a 1942 D quarter, whether in an old collection, a coin jar, or a dealer's box, don't ignore it. Look closely, because one of the last silver quarters of the World War II era could be hiding the kind of value that changes your life forever. The 1932 Washington quarter is one of the great keys of the entire series. It was struck in San Francisco during the very first year of issue for the Washington quarter, and with its extremely low mintage, It has become one of the most coveted U.S. coins of the 20th century. Even in circulated grades, it carries strong value, and in gem condition, it has produced auction results that reach well into six figures, and in extraordinary cases, beyond $500,000. Let's begin with the basics. The 1932 S quarter was struck to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design by John Flanagan shows Washington's portrait on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse. Each coin is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighs 625 grams, and measures 24.3 millimeters. The S mint mark appears on the reverse, just beneath the wreath. What makes this coin so special is its mintage. Only 408,000 examples were struck at the San Francisco Mint, the lowest mintage of any regular issue Washington quarter ever made. That instantly made it a key date, and even in worn condition, collectors will pay far above face value. In circulated grades, a 1932 S quarter can bring $200 to $500. In mint state 60, values jump to $2,000. In MS 63, they can reach $6,000. In MS 65, they often sell for $20,000. At MS 66, things get intense. One sold for $48,600. Another reached $85,000. Then came the shockers. A blazing MS 66 Plus with booming luster brought to $10,000, and one of the few known MS 67 examples sold for an astonishing $385,000. The single finest known at PCGS, a spectacular MS 67 Plus, set headlines when it sold for $632,000. Proof-like surfaces and toning can drive prices even higher. One superb gem with rainbow toning across the obverse sold for $125,000. Another with mirror-like fields and frosted devices realized $325,000. These eye-appeal premiums are especially strong with such a scarce issue. Errors on 1932S are virtually unknown, but when they appear, they stun collectors. A dramatic off-center strike brought $15,000. Broad strike example sold for $18,500, and the rarest and extremely unusual 1932 S quarter struck on a dime. Planchet realized an incredible $612,000. The historical backdrop makes this coin even more fascinating. In 1932, the United States was in the depths of the Great Depression. Coin production had slowed nationwide. Both the Philadelphia and Denver mints also struck Washington quarters that year, but in small numbers. The San Francisco issue, with just 408,000 coins, instantly became scarce, and collectors soon recognized it as a key coin. Unlike other quarters of the time, very few were saved in rolls, making high-grade survivors truly rare. Today, finding a 1932 S quarter is a dream for collectors. In circulated grades, they're often spotted at estate sales, inherited collections, or tucked away in old boxes. But the true gems, those MS 66, MS 67, or error pieces, are virtually impossible to find without already being certified. If you think you've found one, certification is absolutely essential. PCGS and NGC are the authorities for this key date, and their labels drive the highest prices. Smaller finds can sell directly to collectors or on platforms like eBay. But the true blockbusters, the $210,000 gem, the $385,000 MS 67, the $612,000 wrong planchet strike, or the $632,000 top pop MS 67, will always go through major houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or great collections. The 1932 S Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It's the cornerstone of the series. From a $200 worn piece to a $632,000 gem, this San Francisco key date shows why collectors never underestimate the earliest years of the Washington quarter. So the next time you come across a 1932 S quarter, whether it's worn down from circulation or gleaming like new, don't take it lightly, because this key date rarity could be the quarter that turns pocket change into life-changing wealth.